Uh, hey, I pull up and I back out with it. Hey, I'm finna spaz out with it. In the trap with the pack out, getting it. You read it, you told. I heard that's what happened out, did it? Nigga, you bold. This shit a new era. Niggas come home on papers without a scratch on. I seen steak and teeth.
Hello, everyone. It's United World Sports. Dante Suave, Mystah Jay.
What's going on, everybody?
Uh, bro, long weekend, working, lots of awesome, lots of awesome college basketball. I didn't get to
Man,
watch it, but apparently I missed a doozy when it came to hockey in the Olympics. Um,
yeah, definitely. Sunday morning, I rolled over and I was like, wait a minute. I thought the Olympics was ending this evening. The hockey is the end of the Olympics. It's on now. Damn, overtime. Ah! That's exactly how it was this morning. I, I'm like, what the heck? Kudos to USA Hockey.
Oh, for
You,
sure.
you saw it. You saw it with the four nations. And let's take a step back.
Okay.
Kudos to the NHL because the NHL knows the same way that the NBA is trying to tap into the international part of it from there. It's a difference from when your sport starts here and then branches out versus when the sport starts elsewhere and then comes into America.
Mm-hmm.
With hockey, with them doing the Four Nations Cup like they did when they had that round robin tournament last year, and it was the game. Remember, we
Mm-hmm.
talked about the game that where the US said we had to set the tone, and within the first 9 minutes, it was like four major penalties, four major fights, and everything against Canada, and they ended up beating Canada 3-1.
Uh-huh.
That showed me that they were trying to build something with that team because almost everybody from that team, everybody that was on them Four Nations teams, played in the Olympics with their country. So it was
Mm-hmm.
just basically like a rollover effect to it. And everybody, if you don't remember, the U.S. won that game against Canada in the regular part of that tournament, and then Canada ended up coming back and beating them in the championship for that one. And that was all ran by the NHL.
And and
So
and that's what made what they did, what happened this year with the world versus the USA was basically them seeing what happened with hockey, seeing how the players played and trying to bring that over to the US and the US side of it to see if it would work. And I discussed that when we first talked about it, and it first came up that that's what they were going to do. I'm like, so they're taking that from hockey. But here's the problem. And it's a problem, and they talked about it all day today. Shout out to Chris Broussard. And I know you don't like him very much, but shout out to Nick Wright and Chris Wilds and shout out to even shout out to Stephen A. Stephen A had me laughing today. Um uh but what Chris Broussard and them brought up was the fact that um you can't replace mentality.
no, no,
You can't replace that. It doesn't matter how big of a star that you have if they don't have the mentality needed, then you're not gonna win. And Chris Broussard talked about it the most because he said he even got deep into it. He started bringing up specific names and talking about he was talking about over the generation of basketball.
yeah,
At the end of the day, yeah, there were plenty of stars. Plenty of teams had stars, but they couldn't win.
right,
And there is a difference. And it's because of people like him, Chris Broussard, I mean, that's where I understood it from. That and plus when I was coming up, they pushed home that you had to be a certain way. And people that acted like the TOs and the Chads, that was just considered cocky and unnecessary and don't be like that.
Right. Yeah.
And and so that's why in my head it's hard for me to wrap my head around somebody that does act like that because I was always taught that ain't the way to go, that ain't the way to win. um and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why Joe Dumars is my favorite Piston.
Because
And
he
ironically, me and him have like the same, we want to do our job, we want to be the best at it, and yet we want to be quiet.
mm-hmm.
He was the quiet one, and it's funny because I don't know if you've ever saw the reels, but John Sally said out of all the Pistons, Joe Dumars is the only one that nobody has a problem with.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
he
I
was
think
like, so wait, the bad boy Pistons had a quiet one, and he's not being treated like as far as I could tell, he's not being treated like Russell Wilson.
no,
So obviously he was quiet. He did things his own way, and yet it didn't rub people the wrong way for whatever reason.
because it wasn't in this society. We'll take the person that says, look at me, but has no substance over the person that says, don't look at me, but has all the substance. You can see that. You can see the difference in that with the jobs that they've had out after they've left the Pistons in their own right. None of them have been able to keep any type of coaching or front office job except for Joe. Everybody else that tried it. We saw Isaiah's cluster.
Yeah.
You saw Bill Laimbeer going to coaching until his antics that he did during playing went into coaching, but you were coaching females. You can't do that.
Right.
Everybody else has kind of just fell to the wayside. So it's when they said the issue that I had, and I thought about it after we had our conversation with what went wrong with the NBA All-Star game last week with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for me, and I agree with what you, after I thought about it, I agree with what you said. It was wrong for them to have it to where it was 2 American teams and 1 world team.
Right.
So the way that I thought about it was, if most of the players that was from the world team was from Europe, split Europe in half. Western Europe, Eastern Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Have the Germans, the Czechs, the Swedish, everybody on one side. Had the British, the Spanish, the French on another one, and split it up that way. That way you'll be able to, because the only other way that you would be able to do it is if you had 2 American squads, an entire French squad, and then an other squad. Because the second biggest represented, I want to say the second biggest represented country behind the United States is France in the league right now. So I could,
yeah, but I just don't see why it's like 12 players to a team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's against the world, so you can mix it up however you want.
Right.
As long as you have the best of the best on each side, and you got enough people to sub in and sub out, so nobody's playing the full 4 quarters.
But see, that's the other problem. That was the other problem with it. They only had it playing 1 quarter for each one of the games. Each game was only 12 minutes. So it made it to where you probably slept out once throughout the whole thing if you didn't pay the full 12 minutes for it. So it kind of made it, you can't, if anything, that tells me that you could have cut down the players that was in there, make them run the full 12. It didn't make no difference. If you would have did it, and the other part that I think it would have helped if you added another team, when you think about it, was the fatigue factor.
Right.
Because you had the older squad come back off of them doing that run, and they were
and
gassed.
and
Even with
that's
the
why I was saying
halftime.
if they had had the young starting five and the older starting five as one team.
But see, they would it would have been still it. Then a lot of people wouldn't have got no run. I think that I think it would have been just the way that they did it was right. They needed to add another team, and the way that they should fix it is add another team and then take either the slam dunk or the 3-point competition and plug it in between the semifinal games of that round robin and the championship to give them all that
Oh,
break.
oh, and by the way, if you ain't man enough to be in the competition, knowing who your competition is, so be it. Just get in whoever's in there. Matt McClung should not have had to take a back seat because people said, "Oh, if he in it, I'm not going to be in it." So in other words, you want to get in there, just do whatever and that be looked at as oh my God, you basically saying you're not as good as him. You can't bring what he bringing to the table. So then why are you in the dunk contest anyway? And I disagree with the. I'll say it again. The difference between them bringing up Spud Webb and Dominique and Jordan and Vince Carter. We knew during games that they could do what they was gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. Two, they wanted to be in the dunk contest.
They wanted to smoke.
Dominique wanted to smoke both during games with Jordan and he wanted it in the dunk contest against Jordan. He wanted it. It was a personal mindset. He
Yeah.
wanted it. Everybody that you're talking about from that time, they were in it not because somebody talked them into it. They were in it because hey, dunk contest. Do you want to be in? Yeah, I want to be in. And I know Neek was definitely on it when he said, Jordan in it? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
But see, that's where the argument that Chris Broussard made ties in the same thing that both of us have been saying, and also ties into what I hope will be ongoing. You heard a lot more of the mentality like it was when Jordan and Kobe and Vince and Shaq and all of them was playing in that All-Star game, coming out of Wemby, out of Luca, out of Ant-Man, out of the newer guard, the newer faces for it, than you heard from during that era when it was LeBron and LeBron nudging Steph like, hey, yeah, even though they on opposite sides and everything else with it. They want this generation seems to want the smoke more than be your friend. We can be friends outside there. When we on the court, I'm trying to be the best one out there on the court. And they're playing like it. You gotta think about it. How many years did we go where it wasn't really no NBA fights? It was some years where we were like, after the Malice in the Palace, it was some years we were like, just swing. They sit up there helping each other up there pushing, like, whatever, laughing and giggling, kicking. We done had more fights in this past month than we done had throughout the entire season.
Because they under the league won't admit it, but they understand. You got to let it be a little physical. Here's
You
the
gotta let it
problem.
be. You gotta let it be physical, and y'all gotta stop. You gotta stop bringing friendships onto the court.
But they got to get, and I know it's hard. The referees do not have an easy job.
Mm-mm.
But at the same time, you do have to bring a level of consistency so that what could be a little fight here doesn't turn into a whole team melee
Right.
because because of build up and smack talk. And uh I'm even though details are important, the context is important. I do think that to a certain extent, you got to back these referees and quit letting people. if a mistake was made, okay, call it out.
Right.
You protect the referees, but don't protect them to the point where a coach can't tell him like, "Hey, I understand you mad. I understand that that was part of what led to y'all losing. I get it. Bring it up. Still be respectful." I wonder if the coaches would be able to like hold it more if they were able to like vent,
Mm-hmm.
because you're putting them in a situation where they can't vent during the game, they can't vent after the game, but this stuff keeps happening that puts their team in a bad situation, and they keep caging it, and it just builds up. You can't, as a person who used to be real bad about letting stuff build like build up inside before it just okay, there is no more room. Somebody about to catch this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that needs to be looked at for both the players and the coaches and the refs, because there have been some times where where some refs was just like, you know what, I'm getting sick of y'all. So now I'm on the no tolerance policy. Tech, tech, tech. I'm
Mm-hmm.
teching everybody. Call me John Rambo. Everybody getting it.
They
and,
it's
and the sad part is okay, they're a little justified. They're like, how are they justified? Like, dude, they sitting here in a corner. They sitting here being backed into a corner, acting like every single one of their calls that they called, when really it's only a few of them. Like that's the one thing that I like about the analysts on the college basketball level. They've been a lot of them been calling a spade a spade. Like the refs been letting them play pretty good, and they've been jumping in when they need to, been staying out when they need to, and but yet they still been calling them out. Like yeah, that wasn't, yeah, that was, yeah, that was nah. I don't know what they saw, but that didn't happen, and it showed from the replay. And then naturally you gonna have them talking like players and talking like fans, like, oh well, yeah, that happened, but you shouldn't have called that, which no one should ever say, but it's gonna get said no matter what. It's part of the game, whether it's fan, analyst or player. It's just it's gonna happen.
yeah. It's just I like how the league is looking right now. I like the turn in it. And it's I'm not going to never knock the generation from 2010 to 2020 the 2020 2021 group, that generation. I'm never going to knock what they did during that time frame,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same instance, a combination of that topic and then there was another topic that I meant to send to you was I caught somebody talking about AAU basketball a couple of days ago on like on a stream, and they were talking about how they were in Texas and there was a coach and he said AAU then softened up a lot of the players that you see in the league now too.
Chris Broussard was talking about that exact thing today.
Yeah, and he said because he said that not enough players want to go out and go onto a street ball court or to the neighborhood basketball court or to the playground and go play. They'd rather go sign up for an AAU and go ahead and play and get the participation into there and try to hone their game there. And it's not the same. You're not calling your own fouls. You're not taking those hard knocks or hitting the ground in the asphalt. He said most of them kids, you put them out there on the asphalt court, they wouldn't know what to do now. But you put them out there in a gym, they'll sit there, be out there. That's the ones that's looking like, where's the call? Where's the call? Because they so used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's led to that culture. He said before AAU used to be to where it was the best of the best was on a touring squad from that city or from that area. He said not every single businessman that or lawyer that wants to sit there and say, hey, I got money, I want to sit up here and put together a team and reap all the participation awards and everything to make it seem like they're doing something, and they're really not developing anybody from it. And you're not cutting your teeth against the best of the best. The best of the best goes to the Nike, the ABC, the ABCD, the Under Armour, the Adidas camps. Those are where those AAU teams are going out there and going to play and do that. Not the Batavia Invitational, no pun intended, where they got everybody, where they might have everybody from around the area, and they might have 2 players from a high school team that's superstars out there playing, and they're pushing them as the draw for it, but they're not playing up against top level talent. So it's all this cushiony effect of what it is. You listen to a lot of these players now when they sit there and you ask them, well, where you cut your teeth? A lot of them don't say that they cut their teeth playing street ball. And a lot of them don't say that they was in the gyms at the local Y. Most of the time now you hear them sit up there fantasizing, talking about, hey, I was in the studio, or I was at the what's the one fitness place? Not, it ain't Planet Fitness, it's the other one. It's
Crunch?
no, I think it's either Crunches or it's Crunch or something, or Fitworks, one of the two that's got the basketball courts inside their gym.
As far as I know, Fitworks does not exist anymore.
It's something. It's something that's it's one of them that's out there to where they games be harder than some of the daggone AAU games when you look at it.
Oh, I'm sorry. There
Hello?
is a Fitworks left apparently in Cincinnati.
You
Oh,
there?
oh, Harrison?
Uh-oh. Don't tell me I lost the signal. Will
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, it froze on my end.
I thought they got bought out by Crunch Fitness or somebody. I don't know. But yeah, I get what you're saying. All right. Well, okay. Mm. Ooh. I want to jump into some NFL real quick after we talk about this article that I found where Tyronn Lue. I found this from Larry Brown Sports. It was written by Gray Papke. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I didn't. Um, and it's basically I guess Kawhi was not happy that both Harden and Zubac got shipped, and he said he feel like the Clippers season is over, and um Ty Ty Lue disagreed. He said, we're playing to win, according to Dave McMenamin. Um, Ty said, I don't care if it's young, old, or toddlers. Whoever's on the floor, we are trying to win. And I mean, we are trying to win. There's no other reason to play. So, but I I started scratching my head as soon as I saw Zubac was leaving. I'm like, why? That gave y'all like a 1-2 punch between between your starter and him coming off the bench in terms of defense. I questioned that move. Um Harden, not so much. What are your thoughts on it?
There is no way. Why wouldn't Kawhi think that? I don't.
Yeah.
You have tanking. You're talking about tanking, and people. You don't want people tanking and everything, but then you turn around and you trade away 2 main pieces. One of them asked to get traded.
Yeah, not so much Harden. Harden is Harden. But Zubac, I'm sorry, that was a head scratcher for me. He actually left before Harden did, if I remember it right.
It was almost the same. That's why I'm like, you can't sit there and say, I don't know.
I def
I can't get mad at Kawhi for even if he said it and he felt that way. I can't get mad at him for it because at the end of the day, that's like watching all your hard work go out the window. Now, let's call a spade a spade. Does Kawhi get some type of pass for what has happened over the past few years with him not being able to remain healthy in order to make it to where this was a viable team that could have been fighting for a championship?
and yet they and also taking big money, which would have kept them from being able to bring somebody in. But especially with the fact that he was hurt. And I actually have another. I want to complete this one, but I actually have another one that's gonna get a little spicy. But yeah, I don't really count Harden's as them seeing as in him seeing that the season is over because of the fact that Harden asked for it, and plus the history of Harden and asking for trades, and usually at the time he's the team is not usually in a situation where it's definitely looking like they go into a championship. He seems to always want to get traded in that situation. So, I mean, it's crazy.
He
But
always wants to run. That's him. He always wants to run and get out of there during that situation, during that time frame for it.
do you think do you think do you think that all this hype talking about Cleveland is about to is 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 open to like getting a championship? Do you see that with him and Mitchell?
No,
I personally don't.
no, because you got two players that have not been able to win nothing on their own. So yeah, you're gonna bring them together now. And I'm not being funny when I say this. If they stick it out until next season, and then a certain god goes back home, then that might make them a viable option in the East. A
I say no.
viable.
Here's why I say no. The Lakers would be idiots
Why?
if they were to make if well, if his contract's up, I guess he can just go wherever he wants.
Exactly.
But they the Lakers are idiots because they should have went ahead and tried to trade. They should have went ahead and talked to him about getting traded this year. That way they could have got something out of it. So to me,
Nope. Because here's the thing. Here's the reason why. You are getting something out of it. He goes away, that frees up all that cap space. And you already, everybody, if you've been listening to all the pundits over the past couple of weeks, a lot of the pundits have been saying the reason why the trade for Milwaukee didn't go down was because they wanted the Lakers to be involved in the conversation. They didn't just want it to be, he could have went to Miami. He could have went to Golden State. Think about it. If Giannis would have went to Golden State with Golden State with Curry out there, that would have made them a player in the West. But all of a sudden, you heard all that rumbling, you heard all that snowballing saying, "Oh, well, yeah, he's going to go, he's going here, he's going here, he's going here," and then all of a sudden, it came to a complete stop.
Yeah, and I always found it funny that it shifted from him wanting to play for the Warriors with Steph to, oh, he wants to go out to LA, and I'm like, since when?
Because if you think about it, for his longevity, who does he have a longer championship window with? Out of all the places they was naming, Steph is not going to be. Steph might got about maybe another 3-4 years if his leg holds up after he's held on for a very, very long, very, very, very long time since his early ankle issues. So it's all building up to that point. So let's be real. You got a 3 to 4 year window with Steph. Possible.
Right.
Miami, who would be his number 2 in Miami?
Don't know. Depends on how the chemistry would work. Plus, the problem would be what would you lose? The problem with going out and get a big time star player, which this is gonna migrate into. Let's go ahead and pull him in here. Let's go ahead and pull Doncic in here.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the way everything has played out, you can tell me if you agree. I believe that an apology is owed
To
on
who?
Doncic, and here's why.
To who?
Um, to not necessarily to Nico, just because of the way he did it, but definitely to the Dallas fan base for sure.
So Doncic owes Dallas an apology? Or
Yes,
no,
yes, and
no,
here's why,
no,
and here's
no.
why,
Why?
and here's why. Exactly what's going down right now in LA is exactly it would have been going down had he stayed in Dallas, and he would have been getting paid $384 million.
What's going down in LA that wouldn't have been going
He's
on?
still he's still he the injuries he's suffering from, because even the pundits even pointed it out before the season started. He looked like he was in great shape, but since the season has started and months has passed, he's gone back to looking like the way he was when he was suffering the constant injuries.
Hold on.
And on top of that, it's looking like Lakers ain't getting no championship. Now you could partially put
But we
that
knew
on.
that already.
But
We knew that already. That's not that's the thing. When the season started, it was not Lakers or a championship team because they couldn't build around them once LeBron opted in. There was nothing they
right.
could do. So right now, Luka has already played 44 games this season
Mm-hmm.
and is in top 3 in most statistical categories this season right now, in scoring assists and in rebounding. So
And
if
it's
you're looking at that last season, what did he play? He played 44 out of 50 games that he played with Los Angeles after the trade. So he only missed 6 games last season
mm-hmm.
and still averaged 32 points a game while dealing with all those injuries. This season alone, he's in 44 games.
Out of how many?
Hold on. He's averaging 33, eight and a half, and eight and a half assists, 8 rebounds. And that's out of let's see here. Look at down to the season's games played out of. Stop changing it.
Well, why are you looking at that? My main point is this: to sit up here and act like people were being unreasonable when really there was a legit reason why everything went down. You don't have to like the fact that it went down. I can respect that. I can understand him even being mad. I can understand him being mad, but only because you're not really being accountable about it. Because if he had just done as they said, you think he would still be in Dallas?
No, I don't.
Yeah, but that was the whole reason that
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 I
it,
don't think. I think, and the crazy part about it is that I don't think that it was because of that. I don't think that they wanted to pay him. Period. Because it's kind of funny how You make a trade to get rid of somebody. You brought in somebody else that was worse than what he was. And then less than a year later, you get rid of him too. And you get rid of the person that pulled the trade off. Now, all of a sudden, the original owner is trying to get a group of people to buy that team back from the people that he sold it to. There's a whole lot of
but the only reason not to pay him that money and to get him up out of there, knowing how much money he was bringing in and how much the fan base loved him.
They didn't care, because as soon as they got rid of him, you got rid of your star and then you raised the ticket prices. Come on now. We deal with that here. We will trade a star away here and raise the ticket prices. And then think about what we're dealing with the Reds right now. The same person that just sat there and said a couple of years ago, where else are you going to go, is now the team CEO.
I do believe in, I do still believe in people letting you be your own demise. So while you don't agree that, I mean, they dealt with it for what, 4 or 5 years,
and he still was MVP level even with it. So okay, I got it. So they played 56 games this season. He's missed only
12.
14, only 12 games this season. And before the trade, no matter how much they want to sit there and say he was out of shape or whatever else last season, out of the 44 games that he played last season with Dallas, out of the 45 games that he was eligible to play, he played 44. And was still scoring at that level. So it's not, to me, when it comes to that, the apology is owed to Dallas's fans by Nico. But I don't think that Nico was the only culpable person that was involved in that. I think the higher ups was involved in that and said, we need to cut in order to make sure that we're turning a profit. What can we do? Oh, well, we probably going to have to get rid of Dante. Okay, do what you need to do. Because did anybody know last season that Dante was on the trading block? No. And out of all people that you called your best friend in the whole wide world, who happens to be the GM of the Los Angeles Lakers, and you execute a trade without getting nobody else involved.
And then you showed your lack of brain power just because of who he was, not only who he was willing to give you, but then he even took back the two. He played you because he offered you
to the left.
He offered you 2 first-round draft picks, then held it against you, saying that you were giving him a hurt player, like he wasn't giving you a hurt player.
He wasn't giving you Mr. Glass.
Right. And that's why I said it's not to Nico, but I still say, because that's how business works.
Yeah.
When they want to get rid of you, all the stuff they kept quiet, all of a sudden
comes to
loom.
It's no different than baseball arbitration. Baseball arbitration, before you hit free agency, you can sit there and you can bat 700 with 500 home runs and 1,300 RBIs. They're going to go in front of that court as long as you're arbitration eligible and tell them why they shouldn't pay you the amount of money that they should pay you.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try to make sure, well, he did all this, but he didn't steal no bases. He had a subpar. He's not a 5 tool. He's a 3 tool.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do that. So it's not, when it comes to those arguments, when it comes to that, it makes, if I would, in this day and age, and right now, Luka's in the MVP conversation because a lot of people that could have possibly been in there have been too hurt in order to be eligible for it this season.
Right.
So he's still putting up the numbers. He's still doing what he has to do. It's just a simple fact of they can't build around him. They can't build around him. Not with God hanging over his shoulder.
Right. And not only that, but then whoever's making decisions, I don't know why they brought in DeAndre Ayton. They would have been better off seeing if they could talk to Dallas. And I wish Chris Broussard would quit bringing up them going to the championship, because the only reason they made it to the championship was because of the defensive players that they pulled from other teams
Yep.
in Washington and Gafford. As soon as they showed up to Dallas and they was able to play better defense around Luka, that's when everything came together. It helped that technically they was brought in for their defense, but it turned out that they was two pretty good two-way players. That's why I like them both, even to this day. Even though technically they on the rival team, I respect they play. I respect how I respect them as players and respect how they play. And I honestly wish that they had been able to get over the hump and to have
And the
gotten a
injury field,
championship,
right? And the
because
injury field.
they are definitely, you get pulled in to do a job and you do that job and you make it to the championship. I want to see you win, but it is people, people, maybe, actually I think I'm trying to avoid something. I think it's the fans. I understand you being upset, but at the end of the day, he had a incurring problem. And you can give me the numbers and say that it's small, but and I can respect it. But at the same time, why are you having this recurring problem?
But that's
What
no.
what's going on that you're doing? His attitude toward the whole thing is I don't know what's going on in LA, but I know that's what played that the fact that it played a part in it. It's a part of the picture. It don't what do we say all the time? Don't give nobody an excuse. We talk to it about our
Yeah.
players, right? Don't give
Yeah.
nobody no excuse. And Luca, and they dealt with it for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's not like he only did it 1 year. If he only did it 1 year and all of this took place, I could completely see where you coming from and see where I might be misplaced. But what fans really need to understand is more often than not, this stuff goes down. So your star player that you bought the jerseys for, that you paid for the parking, and you paid for the food, and you paid for the tickets, and yet the team couldn't go anywhere, but they didn't want to look like the bad guy. Unless they trying to trade you and you want to play hardball, or you decide you want to say something against the team so something leaks, most of the time they try to keep that stuff in house. So you don't, and now with all these podcasts, now you finding out about so much stuff.
But see, that's the thing, and this is the thing. Before the podcast came out, did you ever hear Luca talking bad towards Cuban or Kid at all? Did you ever hear in the media, the main media, not the bullshit podcast?
No.
Okay. Did you ever hear anything in the mainstream media about Luca's work ethic during that time frame?
During Cuban's days? No.
No. So if you didn't hear anything leading up to that point, you didn't hear pretty much anything leading up until the night of the trade. Then all of a sudden, all the bad shit started coming out. All the issues start coming out after the trade. To me, that sounds like somebody covering their ass.
Well, no.
Because
I mean,
because
that is what they doing.
Right. The only reason why I'm saying that is because if he was that much of a headache, it was that much of an issue, Getting you to an NBA final and winning you series in the playoffs in those 4 years squash that need before you went to offer him before you start offering him the max deal.
So
Because you were
basically,
offering it to him beforehand, and then all of a sudden you sat there when the new ownership came, all of a sudden it became an issue about giving them the max deal. I guarantee you, if Cuban still would have owned that team, Luka would still be a Maverick. And they wouldn't have Cooper Flag. They wouldn't have AD. Kyrie would be okay. Because Kyrie started playing harder because he had to be the star of the team. There was no, it would have, if Cuban would have still been owning Dallas, none of this shit would have happened. Because Cuban has the business mind who had told Nico, you getting fleeced.
Do you think that Cuban would have been able to talk to Dante
Yes.
and get him to come around?
Yes. Because the only person that really had Doncic's ear when he was there, besides Kidd, was Cuban. That's why Cuban came out after the trade and said, I did not know nothing of Cuban. If you look at Cuban's words after that trade, he said, I did not know nothing about it. I was blindsided just like everybody else. And it hurt him. And the crazy part about that is that everybody that meant something to the Dallas Mavericks organization in their history, from Dirk to Kidd to Cuban, all of them said the same thing. We ain't know nothing about this. We don't understand why it happened, but it's a business. Cuban was the only one that sat there and said, nah, I'm not on it. And you can see from how he's been working after the fact, it pissed him off so much to where he wants his shit back. Because it made no sense whatsoever. That's basically like, that is almost to the point to where, like, because let's be called spade a spade. SGA is the same type of injury prone. And that's just like Oklahoma City sitting up there saying, damn, you got us a championship. But you keep on getting hurt every year. And it don't seem like you're going to get over that. Let's trade you over here for a bag of Skittles and a bag of bones. And a year later, turn around and say, all right, we don't want the Skittles. They didn't win stale, and the bag of bones is still a bag of bones. It did not make sense. Even when I called you that night and said, what the hell? And this is as a Lakers fan. I would have rather had my team suffer through the last couple of years of LeBron and then figure out to start over from scratch, then make a trade, dip your toe in the rebuild, but not cut off the albatross around your neck, and give that albatross the option to come back. Because not only did that albatross come back, he brought his little albatross with him. So I can sit there and say, as a Lakers fan, I'm watching the games to enjoy the games. Do I expect for them to be challenging for a championship? No. I expect for their window to open for a championship to start after next season. It might start as early as next season, but I'm thinking 2 years down the line, because you got to get rid of LeBron. You have tradable assets right now that you can turn around and you can swing it and get Giannis in the summer, along with draft pick capital. If you swing it, if you was to tell me right now that they could put together a package that said Hachimura got traded. Or did he? I don't remember. If you sit there and tell me this season, I can sit there and say, all right, guys, I'm about to give you guys a trade offer. I will send you, nope, Ruri's still there. I'll send you Rui Hachimura, Jackson Hayes, or Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, and possibly Austin Reeves to get Giannis and a draft pick that gets you younger, that gets you under the cap for Milwaukee, and it gives you draft capital. And now you got Giannis and Luka that you can feel around.
Yeah, but they're not good at filling around, so I don't know if
That's
getting rid of
the thing.
I don't know if getting rid of Reeves would be
Reeves would be something to where if it was something that you needed to put it over the top. That would be that would be that whipped cream that you put on there with the cherry.
Them two technically play better together without LeBron.
Right. And that's the thing. That's why if the only other way that I would see it being
so does him and so does what's his face and Jackson Hayes. So I don't know if getting rid of him necessarily.
because
I would definitely try to get rid of Ayton because
Ayton has no worth. That's the problem. Ayton has the opportunity to show that he has some type of worth. He doesn't have any worth unless they're just trying to take his contract. But I think it was a 1-year deal.
right.
So he might be gone in free agency. And you just got Luke Kennard. Dalton Connect is gone. We all can sit there and say that. You still got Jared Vanderbilt out there, but I think he's on IR. Do you throw in Maxi Kleber?
Who?
Maxi Kleber.
You're gonna have to throw in a bunch, but I would be careful about, especially seeing that Jackson Hayes seemed to be so bought in with Dante. I feel like if you were able to somehow like include him more, if LeBron wasn't there, I believe he could turn into something.
I believe so too. But the biggest headache right now is that you can't do nothing with LeBron there. You can't.
I mean, like I would love to know like what in the name of all basketball gods is going on in Boston.
What you mean?
Because they are exactly what fans would want from their team that is missing a star player. That's exactly what's going on in Boston right now is exactly what you would want. If you can't be number one, at least be number two. And force people to start talking.
It worked.
Huh?
Wow, that actually worked. I went into the trade machine. If they traded Vanderbilt, Connect, and Hachimura straight up for Giannis, it would work. Without trading, and that's not without including draft picks. And this is primarily doing it for the math.
Yeah.
For it, but that trade would go through. So if you could pull that swing, the only thing is Hachimura, you don't have control of Hachimura after this season. So that would probably have to be a part of a sign and trade. But it could work. When I'm thinking about everything that comes from the NBA this offseason, because this regular season right now, we don't know who's going to come out of it. We're getting ready to get down to the nitty-gritty in the next couple of months with it. The conversation that we've had when it comes to how quickly it went from Giannis being available and willing to move to all of a sudden, oh no, he's not going nowhere. He's staying here. He's going to be a part of this team. We're going to build around him. Was very fishy to me, especially how 11th hour it was that they did that. And then for all the intent and purposes of it, if there's anybody that we know that has shown that they can be sneaky as hell and pull something off behind the scenes that nobody knows about until it's announced, it's Rob Pelinka. And that's where it makes it to where you can't, when it comes down to it with this season and with next season, it's not going, if that tandem comes together, ugh. Because you pretty much have, you got two players that can play 5 positions. And then you can put, you don't even have, you can leave, that would make Reeves your starting point guard. Then you can get a 2 or a 3 to put with Doncic, and you can get a 4 or a 5 to put with Giannis. And like you said, if you keep Jackson Hayes and Giannis with Luka and you can't sit there and tell me, but you can plug in whoever you want as a 2 or 3. But
yeah, but it would be a great idea to get as many two ways as you can, especially that are pretty good at defense, because that's ultimately what got them to the championship. And that's ultimately what got Dallas to that championship. Was that they ended up with, they thought that they was just pulling in 2 defensive players, and it turned out not only were they two really 2 pretty good defensive players, but they was able to put up points too. They was able to find they part in the offense, which made Luca being like a distributor, the distributor in him, it made it work, at least until they got to until they went up against Boston.
where did this come from? Oh, okay.
So all right, with that, had a lot of fun with that. All right, so what should happen real quick? This gonna be a two-parter. Um, uh,
No.
tag him, trade him, tag him or trade him. George Pickens. What should Dallas do?
Tag him.
I say trade him.
You have to, if you trade him,
Huh?
the only way you trade him is that you know for a fact, either via the draft or you know for a fact who you getting as the number 2.
Trade him somewhere where he could be a number 1, and see if you could get some big off of it. The number 1 spot in which to trade him, where I think he would get his money, and you could get something that the team needs, would be Vegas. And you know for who.
The only reason why I would say no
Oh, this should be good.
is because you know certain people's mannerisms in certain locations. George Pickens in Las Vegas is a powder keg waiting to happen. And again, the reason being is that I get everybody saying trade him somewhere to be where he can be a number 1. But a lot of people are not realizing the fact of it doesn't matter if you're a number 1 if the person that is throwing the ball can't get it to you.
But
So he can go.
in anywhere that he could get traded to that has a quarterback that could get him the
No,
ball, they don't need a wide receiver.
exactly.
They don't need a wide.
And that has been that's going to be the fundamental conundrum for everybody that's seeking a trade that's a wide receiver in this market. Where the hell you going to go? Because at the end of the day, if you already established where you are, but you think the grass is greener somewhere else, look at the track record of wide receivers that has tried to go somewhere else where they thought the grass was greener over the past 5 years, where they actually succeeded going where the grass was greener. One. And he's coming off a broken leg. And that's Tariq.
Yeah, but he didn't. I mean,
Tariq that first year was an MVP candidate.
yeah.
And that's when the grass was greener. Everybody else that has left, that has been a wide receiver that has switched teams, has not panned out to being something better than what they were, except for Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams going to the Rams. Cooper Kupp took a backseat to Smith and Jigba,
Which helped him stay healthy longer.
right? But we're saying going somewhere being the number one. No, it's not. The common sense of, I won't even say the common sense, the sense of, okay, I can stay here where my visibility will always be high because I'm always in the playoffs or always fighting for a championship, or I'm playing for the star, versus taking a trade where it's going to be a rookie quarterback, but they ain't fixed the offensive line. So unless I'm doing 3-yard hitches, there's a possibility I won't see the amount of catches that I had before that I'm clamoring for. Oh, by the way, most GMs, knowing that situation, are going to put incentives in the contract to where, hey, you'll get a bonus kicker if you get this many catches or this many yards.
Xfinity has all the best live and streaming games.
And if you don't hit it, oh, that just sucks. You couldn't hit that kicker. No, it's not. I wish more people would look at.
He's gonna hurt Dallas. As much as I talk about Dallas, his talent would help Dallas, but
Yes.
that's not all that's gonna come. So,
No.
and with the little bit of what they showed, I respect Shotty enough to where I don't want him to be part of the reason why Shotty gets fired. And I feel like if he stays there, he's going to be part of the reason that Shotty gets fired. If Shotty gets fired, his name's going to come up. As much as they want to keep clamoring on what good he did, I've noticed that they've started trying to go away from the head case part that was there. They starting to talk about that less again, and they keep focusing on, oh well, he broke records in Dallas there, and they talking less about the other stuff.
To make him marketable.
Right. And I get that, but then like today, you bring up the fact that Pittsburgh got off of him, but when you talk about his time in Dallas, you tried your best to stray away from what y'all had previously talked about since the season and the past few months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
because I'm trying to keep that value. I'm trying to keep your value. I'm not going to sit there and depreciate my own asset before I can cash it out. I might sit there and say, I said things where I'm going at him about different things when I might not have had an inkling that he could have some value to go elsewhere. But now that I'm hearing that, okay, I franchise him, I got to pay this amount. But if I trade him, I'm off of that amount. I can go do whatever I want to with it. Hey, everybody, shut up. Don't say nothing bad about. I don't care if he's taking a piss in the middle of the daggone locker room. Don't say nothing. We don't just say one of the kids got free or they took
That
off a
was
diaper or something.
God, that was a perfect analogy.
But that's what all these teams are about to do. You're about to see a whole bunch of kissing of a lot of players' asses in the media up until free agency in a couple of weeks.
Should
Because
should they try to go for Hendrickson or Crosby or Miles?
Miles ain't going nowhere. Miles ain't going nowhere because Malkin's going to try to build that whole thing around them.
You don't think Pickens could go up there?
No, told you again. Don't make no sense to be a number one if they can't get you the ball. I don't. If you can swing them for Max Crosby, do it. Because Max Crosby basically erases all the trades, the Parsons talk. If you can trade them, if you can trade them for Myles Garrett, trade them for Myles Garrett, and then back up the Brinks truck to Myles Garrett to where he retires the Cowboy. But I will say this, and I've said this from day one, and I'll continue to say this until he's out the league. Trey Hendrickson is not worth the money that he's going to get paid.
Yeah, that's what the article I read said because they were talking about all the potential like
But they still got him as the number one free agent on the line.
They going off of the what we just talked about. They going
You
off of that.
can't do that when he's past 30. That's what they're failing to realize.
But me and you done had these conversations.
Yes, and it's stupid.
And me and you done had these conversations where we understood that that's what the league was doing, and yet depending on the player and whether or not they got injury issues depends on where we were on the conversation. Now, exactly what you saying is usually where I'm at. It's like, hey, they getting older, and then it's like, but you got to pay them. I'm like, I hear what you're saying, but
No, I was saying that before, but what else did I say last year when it came to that? When we were having the issues with the Bengals signing them before they decided to sign on the 1-year deal. The reason why there wasn't no trade partners was because you are doing all of this on your third deal. Nobody's going to pay you astronomical. You sit up there clamoring that you want Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett money, and you are legitimately 6 years older than them. And what ended up happening? The Bengals gave you a 1-year deal, and you played how many games out of that 1-year deal?
wasn't much because it turned out he was hurt.
Right. So okay, so then that comes to a question. Did the Bengals do you a solid because they knew that you was partially hurt coming into it? And they said, you know what? Because you have been here, nobody's trying to bite. We don't want to see you at a loss for it. Let's just go ahead and pay you, and then you can play however way you want to play. And then after that, if you don't end up playing, we'll figure it out. It had to be something to make it to where there was that conversation for him to get that contract. Because if it was me and we said that, I wouldn't have paid him. Because who looks stupid now?
Well, I think the Bengals came out right for it. Joe wanted him signed. He got signed. It was in a way that Joe got what he wanted, but the Bengals got what they wanted because they did not want to back up, as you put it, back up the Brinks truck to the situation, and they came out winning because look, he didn't even last a whole season. Now what would have
Exactly.
happened? Now what would have happened if we would have backed up the Brinks truck like the fans and Joe wanted? And so the Bengals came out winners twice in that situation, even
Mm-hmm.
though even in all the talk about how they don't want to pay players and people stay on them about it and all of that rigmarole. At the end of the day, they came out being right, which really, if you stop and you really look at it, how many players actually end up like you said, how many players actually end up being successes after they leave?
Hold on, man.
And the Bengals situation, it may be more because I remember we could say Burkhead was successful because I believe he got at least one ring out of getting traded to to the Patriots.
Yeah.
I remember there was that one teacher. Um, nah, he wasn't a teacher. He used to be in the XFL. I believe he was a safety. And he was pretty good, but the Bengals traded him to the Saints, and he ended up having a pretty decent season. I don't think he won anything, but he definitely had success. He definitely had success after he left.
And,
But
and
people,
and I'm not it is not. I think, like I said, I don't if this would have been three if this would have been Hendrickson 3 years younger, yeah, back it up. Do it. Let him be on that contract with that. But after seeing what he did, and then part of the whole thing that made me mad about the situation was that you didn't even look like you were working out or trying to get yourself in game shape while you was there. You wasn't participating. You was there. You would show up just to show your face and then go off. At least do the exercise and the workout. Because a part of the injury that came out there was from lack of usage. And it's like Rosenthal already. I'm looking at the article right now from Greg Rosenthal on Sports Illustrated. He dropped him. Everybody else got him as the number one free agent. He dropped him to 6 and labeled him as a boom or a bust because it's not a leg injury to where you just got to build up the strength to bring it back. It's his core. It's his abs. So if you push the wrong way and that's not right, you right back on the shelf. So how can you sit there? How can you sit there as a 31-year-old trying to get a high number free agency deal with a bad core muscle that I don't know if you've had surgery on and fixed. I don't know if you could you even be able to play all 3 downs like you was doing for the Bengals. But you want that money. No. There's been too many players that's been out there just based off of what everybody felt like they deserved.
mm-hmm.
That ended up being a gotcha. We got your money. We ain't doing nothing with it.
Well, yeah, and that goes back to that conversation that we were having. That it's like no, it's even if you could see some reasons like you were saying why the whole thing was asinine. At the end of the day, I'm basically about to pay for a problem child. And I don't care if how much the fans love him, if making that deal ultimately hurts the team, and it would have hurt the team in the long run, and we have what's gone down with the Lakers as somewhat of some proof.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said that I may not have chose the apologies to go in the right direction, but because at the end of the day, it was a stupid deal,
Oh yeah.
and that part will never be untrue, no matter what I feel about. But my thing is this: you sit up here and even if I understand your anger, he was a great player. You just spoke on his statistical numbers offensively, but their thing was him him being in the shape that he was in. They felt based off of history, based off of seeing that they had a lot of former players in the front office that have been out there and they know, like, hey, dude, you out there, you you're not you're not putting your best foot forward, and it's gonna hurt the team in the long run. And that person look at them like, who you think you talking to? You old. You old. That stuff was true in your day. You don't. I'm Luca. I got this. I'll be all
But
right.
see, it
I got my own trainer. I don't use your trainer. I got my own trainer, aka Yes Man. You and anytime people continue like, hey, your health, man, you looking kind of suspect. Things this stuff that's going. If you on the bench, you're not helping the team. And I'm sorry, I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to go, why am I going to pay you top dollar to be sitting on the bench? And that's with me knowing that the fans love you and the fans are showing up to games because of you. Again, because that's what ends up hurting a lot of teams. Philadelphia. Where would Philadelphia be had they taken a different stance? Whether and all the teams that put up with the Kawhi situation, including the Clippers, where would they have been had they said when contracts came up, they're like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to pay you top dollar for what you can do on the floor, but I'm about to pay you, and I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time seeing you on the floor. So why am I paying you this money? I'm
now.
basically I'm gonna pay you this money to be on the bench. Now
So
I could see that as being a reason to not to be like, no, I'm not paying you that 384 million. And they would be perfectly justified. Just like right now, they're talking about this, and I disagree with Brew on this. He feels like whether Tatum plays this year or not should be strictly left up to the team doctors, Tatum's doctors, and himself. That's it. Hold on. Them guys ain't ain't writing the check. So I should have some input at least.
and I would believe that they would, but at the end of the day, a lot of Boston's management has said it would be up to the doctors to clear.
Right.
So if they clear him and his doctors clear him, my big concern is that this close to the end of the season, how fast does he get up to speed and mesh in with what you guys have?
Right. And this is why I would rather the boss writing the check have some input like, hey,
But that's
we
a
we
lot of the
we
late basketball minds.
we don't want you coming back too quick. Please understand. I understand that you want to be back, but I'm sorry. You got to show me some numbers since everybody always talk about some numbers. Show me some numbers where the player came back and it benefited the team more often than not. Don't just sit up there and just find people that it worked for. Like a good analogy that I could bring up was a conversation, and I know I've said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. My little brother, we talking about him and how he chose to live his life and some of the things that he wanted to do, particularly smoking weed. And he's like, well, you know, there are some functional weed smokers, and then my immediate kickback was, yeah, but the numbers ain't in your favor, and the powers that be know that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody ain't gonna be Snoop. Everybody ain't gonna be Bone.
Nope.
And everybody ain't gonna be able to be at a regular job, be functional, take care of your responsibilities as a man when it comes to your family and keeping relationships and keeping friendships. It's hard enough to do all that on a regular brain. You start adding chemicals to the stuff, whether it be drinking, whether it be weed, whether it be whatever you decide to throw in there. The numbers ain't in your favor. The things are gonna go right. So, and he under and then I told him, I was like, at the end of the day, you grown. You can do what you want to do, but I'm telling you, the numbers ain't in your favor, bro. And
Oh
we've
yeah.
already discussed you doing stuff that wasn't in your favor, and you saw how it turned out. That's the only evidence that I can present to you. I'm not trying to control you. I'm actually trying to help you. The last time I tried to help you, you didn't listen. You ended up in juvie. I'm just saying.
True.
Is like just like with my daughter. My daughter, she done found out so many times. You can buck me all you want, but you the one that's gonna turn around and come back to me like you tried to tell me. Like again, I'm not trying to run your life. Do, take the cheat sheet while I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because once I'm gone, I'm not gonna be here to help you out.
And I'm not coming back as no specter over you saying you shouldn't have done that. You stupid. Not
doing
about
the
to do it.
Sam Wheat, doing the Sam Wheat, smacking them, learning how to touch it, smacking them like, what you do that for?
Right.
Ever running around like, what happened? It was my
Yeah.
dad. Ah!
Like, wait a minute, what? You got
Like the
muscle
girl that
man?
got gone crazy. I think you need the upper medication. Then I got to walk over and smack them in the head. Like, ah, you talking bad about my daughter? It's like, but yeah,
Like, what's that gust of wind?
right.
Mm-mm.
Like the wind hitting different. All right, now let's get down to the coup de grace to finish everything out. My God, the games this weekend, NBA, college basketball. Oh my God, it was off the chain. Heck, I even got a couple of games pulled up now. My Tar Heels is losing to Louis. Oh, they just took the lead back from Louisville.
Let's
Uh,
go.
so go
I
Heels
finished this
go.
story. I
I'm still mad at y'all for well, I can't be mad because it did hurt. The only reason that game hurt was Duke shouldn't have never lost that lead. They were doing great when they were doing inside outside,
and then they showed that this
and they
week.
went away from it.
They showed the correction this weekend against Michigan because they played inside outside. And Boozer did what he needed to do in there for it. And Michigan lived by the three and died by the three. And
And they big man got some questionable foul calls. I will say
oh
that.
yeah,
It
there
was
was a
like,
couple
they
of them
big
that was
man
like,
got some questionable foul calls that did not help their cause. And them him sticking him immediately back in was
he had no
I
choice.
was questioning that. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You see the way the refs is calling it. This thing is not going to be in his favor. And he has hopefully he's going to figure out how to adapt from that hopefully,
Yeah,
because they seem like they have a great team, and they just found out before the tournament, which is a great time to figure out something like that. Like, holy crap! If the refs are doing like this in the tournament, what do we do? What do we do with him? He should have ideas. That way, him and the coaches can work that out. At the end of the day, what you are seeing, whether it be whether you heard it
I'm
from the
loving it. I'm loving all of it.
teams have to buy in. I'm sick and tired of hearing, well, you got to have it this way. You got to have people that buy in no matter what format, no matter what the format is. If everybody ain't buying in, and that game, oh my God, that game. Michigan Duke game. The
Oh yeah.
Michigan Duke game. Who came up after the Michigan Duke game?
It was no Michigan Duke.
Houston.
Houston and Arizona was before it.
Yeah. Houston and Arizona was before it. The Missouri game was pretty good. It was like from the time
And
the
then
game started, there were certain games that went neck and neck, like the rest of the night, all the way until like all the big name games were over. It was fantastic.
it was the BS that started the day.
Huh?
The BS that started the whole day on Saturday.
Oh, are you talking about Cincinnati and Kansas?
This is this is that one moment where you just don't know how to feel. You happy, angry. You want to punch a wall and punch your fist in the air. You just because you like on one end, you just handed Kansas their worst loss by an unranked opponent in the modern AP era in Kansas.
But
And then on,
don't you feel like the fact that Self's hands are tied because of whatever is or is not going on with their star player
but
is
he
is
played 32 minutes.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. That I immediately thought they won this because he didn't play. He played his most minutes in the season.
No. That's not what I mean.
What?
This in, out, in, out, in, out. The one thing you have to have is chemistry.
Right.
And just because he was out there on the floor, don't mean everything good.
And see, I don't want to. I feel you on that one, and I don't want to take away from what UC did.
Right.
But I get that is one of the things that I thought to where the chemistry was off because he played more minutes than he ever has, and they looked worse than they have had with him playing the spotty minutes.
And that everything matters as much
Right.
as when people want to make excuses for people, they start taking stuff out. It all matters at the end of the day. What you have, which this is why you can't have these things. This is why you can't be okay with these level of things. Whatever is going on with him, whether it be somebody is in his ear which is influencing his behavior, whether it's all of him and his ego influencing his behavior. Bottom line, you're hurting the team. We can't have this. But if Self really says what he really wants to say, the way he really wants to say it, unfortunately for Self, we might see the card.
We might. I just
And it's so annoying because and this is why I say everything can be blended together. That whole thing of let people be who they're gonna be and don't let nobody stop them. And if you stop them, they're a hater. It bleeds into everything. It bleeds into your personal life. It bleeds into your job. It bleeds into stuff that we look at because those are humans there. So naturally, human type things are going to bleed everywhere. Kansas should be in a different spot because everybody should be 100% dialed in. But
I don't think you're going to find too many teams that's going to be 100% down in. You might find 90.
and that's why you're going to find these teams that you're going to look up and go, how the heck they get in? What are they doing there? They don't
And
belong there. Look at the chemistry of the team. Listen to what's going on with the coach. Listen to where the coach is where the coach is with the team and the relationship and how deep does it go? And then
and,
you listen to the player, the star player. What's he saying? What's he coming off as? Is it real legit? Do you see do what you see on the court and what you hear come out of his mouth? Does it flow the same? Like SGA. You can say whatever you want about SGA and him getting to the foul line. I have personally said it. The man is a Grammy award winning foul getter.
Yeah.
He
I know
knows
he is.
exactly how to do it, exactly how to time it to make you foul him and to get to the line. The only thing you can do is go back, watch the tape, figure out because it's a timing thing. He times it just right. You better be careful about reaching in. You better know you're gonna touch that ball. If you don't know if you're gonna touch that ball, don't you reach in on
Nope.
SGA.
You
You're
better
gonna
not
put
do
him
it
on
at
the line.
all.
You gonna put him on the line if you don't hit all ball.
It's just, I think for me,
Yeah.
what bothers me more than the Kansas aspect of it, and I'm not wrong to say this. I texted it to you when it happened. They just saved Wes Miller's job.
Yeah. Yeah. That you did. You definitely
They're
did.
on a 4-game winning streak where they beat Iowa State, that was a top 4 team,
Yep.
and Kansas, that was a top 10 team.
Hmm.
But they're still just, I want to say they're just 1 game or 2 games over 500.
Yeah.
So now here's the craziest part of it all. They could, if they win out and then win maybe 2 games in the conference tournament, they might make the dance because of their higher quad 1 victories.
Hold on. Yeah, they're 3 games over 500. They are 500 in the conference.
And I'm like, and this is what frustrates me. This is what frustrates me about the whole thing.
Hmm.
You play up to your count. You do what the one thing we always hate the most. When we see teams play up to their opponents and then play down to their opponents, they don't never play the same across the board. How could this be the same team that almost lost to a team that was 9-13? Had How could you almost lose to them and a week later beat Kansas in fog? It
That
just
that that's why I said details matter, bro. There's
it is
a
killing me.
there's turmoil going on over there in Kansas, and it's showing. So
It makes it to where it's turmoil in Kansas. It's turmoil in any of the blue blood schools because they don't like how they have to deal with this NIL. We all know that. We've seen that. We noticed that. Then it's turmoil on UC's end because we already know they don't know how to deal with the NIL.
Is turmoil more with the fans? Would that be an accurate?
But then you got a coach sitting up there, coming out there, sitting up there saying, I know you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too. We're going to figure this out together. We're going to go to group therapy and we're going to hold hands and we're going to figure out what's wrong with this team. And I'm going to try to figure out what's been wrong with this team since I got hired here because I've not been able to do anything and we're going to make this right. And then the next game afterwards, you sit up there and you blow out Kansas. See, I made it right. Love me. Accept me as one of your own. No. And I find it's killing me because I'm listening to Corey Blunt and Terry Nelson's podcast while they're saying, like, yeah, he's turned the corner. And I was like, to go where? Go back to where he was? He just hit a U-turn. He didn't hit a corner. Because in another week,
That
we're going to be on the same ilk.
that's that stuff that I talk about that me and you talk about in terms of are you being honest or are you trying to avoid being considered a hater
I would rather be real and just tell, just keep it a buck. The team does not know what their identity is. They played up to Kansas. You got a once in a lifetime career game out of one player that had the player that had 28 and 5 and was hitting threes and everything else. But nobody that you wanted to rely on this season has came through. If they all can come together, the craziest part about this is that this you don't know how to feel, and it'll turn around to be to where it can either be this team could lose out the rest of their games and they're getting that invitation to that tournament out in Vegas again.
The NIT?
No, the other one where they paid, like the winner took all the money and everybody else just they got the free trip.
Oh,
That's what they was in last year.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Because nobody wanted to. Once they found out about that other tournament, nobody wanted to be in the NIT. I remember.
Nobody wanted to be in the NIT. They was in that tournament. Then then the CBI, the CBI still exists. So
and then the NIT ended up being pretty good. That
right,
was the funny part.
because you had teams that were established, that were teams that were built to be teams.
They
playing
wanted to be
actually basketball with each other.
They wanted to be there. They bought in. Good Lord, I love it how a good take just keeps coming together.
It keeps coming along because the NIT was more. The NIT was great to watch last season,
and it was a bunch of who was that? Who?
And them kids made names for themselves.
Yes, they did. And I was thoroughly entertained. I was thoroughly entertained. And that just God, it makes no sense that this keeps being a thing.
But it's going to continue to be a thing to the cows come home.
And people not seeing the writing on the wall of what's going on. Good God, this is a good game. They are going back and forth. Look at them.
Oh yeah, Louisville and them's going to go back and forth. We knew that one. It's just that I want the rest of the season to get into March Madness and for everybody to get in there healthy and get in and give us a great March Madness leading into the next 3 months of just strictly basketball, wall to wall. Because it's like, because before baseball, because I mean baseball is baseball, but yeah. Please tell me you just saw what I just seen come across.
WNBA?
No.
Yeah, that's the latest thing I was kind of dropping my jaw about.
No, I dropped my jaw about the damn fight announcement.
Who?
Mayweather Pacquiao 2, September 19th, Vegas.
Oh boy.
Hey folks, you want to see what happens when you lose all your money because you thought you was rich and you really was under the control of somebody else? Exhibit Floyd Mayweather. Huh.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that he was suing that he was suing for money.
He's suing Showtime for money because he said that they cooked the books and they didn't pay him everything that he was worth. And then right afterwards said that you're fighting an exhibition against Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that was the fight that I thought you were talking about.
No, and then turned around this week.
Guard.
No, then this weekend announced that you were coming out of retirement and signing for a major fight after you got finished with Tyson, the Tyson exhibition, and the major fight is you against Pacquiao.
Um,
Can
I'm
you say a money grab?
right, and I hope people are happy because this is what comes from fundamentals not being important.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what comes from fundamentals not being important. This is what comes from us talking out both sides of our mouth. And what I mean by that is we sit up here and we talk about, hey, it's got to be for the love. But yet we back people that
Do it for the money.
it's about the money. And we pump them up and we go, yeah, that's the way you do it. That's what it's about. Is it? And then you complain and want to say people are being hated on when things aren't going their way. They get upset and start trying to place blame, and then stuff starts getting leaked. Like, okay, I don't know if you want to play this game. Might want to back up. Okay, you don't want to back up off me. Okay, do it. Then all of a sudden, stuff's getting leaked to the media, and then the R word is getting pulled out because oh man, they just racist, man. They just trying to keep them down. I'm like, did the actions actually happen? Well, yeah, yeah. Well, then how's he hating on them? How's it racism?
I think
How is it hating? How is it racism? And I'm going to ask this question until somebody breaks it down for me. Because even Stephen A talked about it. Speaking of, he's like, we live in a world where the players, if they don't like what they hear, it don't matter where it comes from. It don't matter if it comes from a pundit. It don't matter if it comes from a fan. And how do you know? Because the same players will say the same thing to a person that played on their level. Played on their level and got rings and stayed in the playoffs most of their career, but they're hating on somebody who can't, who isn't, but has the talent to do so.
mm,
And what brought that up was Shaq basically told Cat, like, hey man, you gotta be more of a force. And
mhm.
Cat let him know, it's like, hey man, as long as we winning, that's what it's about. He's like, no, 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 no. You got to show them who you are. You got to be a force.
He's that's not him.
Right.
That's
And
not him.
I've known that that's not him. And I saw
It's
it in his play even before I heard his words. And that's not the first time I've heard those words come from him.
no.
Said the same thing in Minnesota. How'd that work out?
It didn't work out. That's why he
Exactly.
left. That's why.
Well, they mm,
It's
not, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's a whole bunch of loads of ridiculousness. We need to get on one accord. We need to quit trying to keep things gray. Oh my Jesus. Yes, I cannot wait for that game.
what
I want to see if Kansas can recover. They're playing Houston.
he was about to run them.
Houston look
He was about to. He was about to
Houston
run them.
looking like they try to be a problem in college football and college basketball. I'm all for it.
He was about to. He was about to run them boys. This ain't about to be. This is about to be ugly.
Oh, I'm gonna have to pull that up because I you know me, I'll start a game as far back as I can.
It's
So,
but it's
but man.
but
Oh, it
I
the
would rather see. I would rather see Mayweather fight Crawford. Just get it done. Put the both undefeated streaks on the line. That would cash out everything. Because I don't think you're going to get the money that you're thinking you're going to get for Pacquiao. Not now. 15 years ago, hell yeah. Not after that.
They lost money just off of when they were actually able to get the fight.
Right, with the
And that was back then.
Pity Pat show. That's what that was. That was Mayweather wins. Yay! That's all that fight was.
Yeah, because
that's my
and
brother.
I kept trying to tell people that fight was gonna suck, and people didn't think I knew what I was talking about. I was like, they're both counter punchers. So how is two counter punchers gonna get in the ring and have a fight that you're gonna want to see? When they're both good at counter punching, somebody's gonna have to be the aggressor. And we knew from that last Manuel fight that Pacquiao had, him being the aggressor gets him knocked out.
Oh yeah. Soon as he comes in there, mark it. Fight's over. Fight's over. He just went to sleep. He took a nap. He's all right. Pacquiao. Get the smell of salt.
It's like, no, they fought people, they fought aggressive people, and it worked to their advantage because they were really their best at counterpunching.
Mm-hmm.
So putting them two in one ring, it ain't gonna work. You just gonna have people out there throwing jabs at the air, waiting on the other person to try to come in so they can catch them. It's like, I'm not watching that for 12 rounds. Somebody gonna have to be the aggressor. The question is who's gonna be the aggressor? I know more than likely it's not gonna be Mayweather.
No,
because the only time that I watched him in a fight be the aggressor, although I watched like the later half, I watched more of the later half of his career. So based upon the later half of his career that I watched, there was only one person that got him to be aggressive, and that was Hatton.
Mm-hmm. Lord rest his soul.
Because he no matter how much he counterpunched, he could not get away from Hatton. And he finally had to sit down on his punches. And that was the fight that made me respect Mayweather. I was like, okay, so he can be a boxer if you really force him. Because
I just think that now more than anything, you're not going that your undefeated streak is going to hold less weight now because you don't have because you basically are not you're not going up against the best of the best right now. You're going up against the core group. Yeah, I mean, you're not going against the core group. And in that weight class that you was in, now you got Shakur, you got Garcia, you still got Haney. That's what's it. The youth is in there. You want to go down there and fight the youth? If all else fails, keep your ass retired. But you need the money.
Wow.
That's a curveball was not expected. If you would have told me in 2026 I would be able to see a Mayweather Pacquiao fight, I would have sat there and said, yeah, right. Are they fighting from wheelchairs? Are they hitting each other with canes? Thank you. How you do? I would have thought. I don't know. Oh, and did you see? And not to even try to change it into a somber tone, but going back to the conversation that we had about the wide receiver divas. Did you see that AJ Brown put up a post today about mental health after what happened to Rondell Moore?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's been a post. It's on the Athletic. I think it was on the Athletic. See if it was on Athletic or Beach Report. Pulling it up now. Where he basically said, yeah, no, it was Bleacher Report. He put a message. He put a 9-minute video about mental health, and everybody's saying that they highly recommend watching it when it comes to that. He said that he noted it's been a tough few months in the football community with the deaths of Marshawn Nealon, and Kyron Lacey. And he spoke about his own mental health struggles from his early 20s and encouraged players going through dark times to lean on their faith, reach out to therapists, and practice with positive affirmations among other techniques for dealing with pressure, adversity, and dark times. He actually came across as sounding reasonable in here for it. And I'm hoping that in an age to where everybody wants to try to find some type of hidden meaning and something wrong with somebody coming out and saying something. And it's been prominent not only in the sports field. I've been listening to and I've been looking at a lot of different things for like for the music realm as well over this weekend. And I've been vocal about certain things to where people have been reaching for comments that try to spark beefs or spark controversy between people. And I'm like, you're not fans if you rooting for some type of bad interaction to happen between certain players or between certain groups. Even if it's already been some type of beef or some type of misunderstanding before then, to keep on sowing those things out there into the world reflects bad on you when it comes down to it. And in this case, with the young man committing the act that he did at his home, it makes you kind of take a step back for a second. Like, he's 25 years old. My two oldest will be 25 this year. And he's had injury after injury after injury, which I know takes a mental toll on there, that you can't play, you can't rehab, you don't know what's coming up next. Shoot, you got they were talking about the one linebacker for Cleveland that just on a weird angle with tackling Derrick Henry, he might not play football again. We know. I was having conversations this weekend about the violence of football. And I was piggybacking off of that from Warren Sapp was on, I don't know if this was recent or it might have been old. He was on the Pivot. And he was asking them to donate. He was asking Ryan Clark, Shannon, and Fred Taylor to donate their brains for CTE testing after they pass for it. And they asked her flat out, like, would you want your kids, how would you tell your kids if you wanted them to play football? And he said, I wouldn't want my kids to play football until they got into high school. I wouldn't want them to play during their early ages, especially between the ages of 10 and 14. And they looked at him funny. He said, did you know that between the ages of 10 and 14 is when you go through your most rapid development of growth in your brain function as an adolescent? You shouldn't be having your head jarred around during that time frame. You should be focused on, he said, I'm not saying they don't play any sports. He says, give them the cognitive sports. Make them play tennis or baseball or go swimming or play chess and do things like that until it's done forming. Then put them out there in football. Because if you got players that's out there that are playing for, again, in the AAU mind state to where they don't care what happened to these kids. They're trying to collect trophies. Or if they care to a certain extent, they care enough if you're going to be a superstar. But if you the little runt of a 6-year-old that's running out there and just likes to keep on running into people's knees and fall around and jarring your head around, and you do that for 4 to 6 years, then all of a sudden you get good and you get size on you and you're doing that, we don't know what damage it might have been caused. It's just, I hope everybody can take a step back and look at the things that we talk about on here, where, yeah, we talk about it in fun and we talk about it in seriousness. But we also understand from being out there that one wrong hit, one way, shape, or form, we might not be in front of you in this format.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of players that go out there and do that. You got a lot of players in any sport that go out there. Shoot, Lindsey Vonn today coming out and saying that she almost, after that wreck that she had on the downhill skiing during the Olympics, if it wasn't for the fact that her doctor traveling with her after she tore her ACL, she would have got her leg amputated. Because her leg, all the trauma and the brace that she had, her leg compartmentalized on itself, trying to heal. It's the blood pressure and the blood stayed in her leg so much to where it started to atrophy and necrose her parts of her leg. He had to literally, and she showed the photos where he literally had to fillet her leg open and in order to let the pressure out of it, in order for him to be able to save her leg. And it did look that bad when you saw any type of replays of her going down the ski slope. Just looked like she wiped out. But we don't know. So my thing I want everybody to do, especially in this era of Lent, take the time to think about some of the things that we probably take for granted. Because right now, we got a young player that had his entire life ahead of him that decided that he didn't want it to continue to go on. And he, in his own home, in his own garage, hopefully made his peace and did what he did.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make, and I hope it lets it puts into perspective to a lot of players that we're playing the game. Even as hosts, we playing a game. It's more things out there than just playing the game.
But that's the thing. It's not, and this is why I like having as much detail as I can when it comes to people and their actions and how they're acting and how they're coming off. The whole thing with AJ, as much as I've said that I felt like his stance was like hurting the team chemistry wise, I've also said he had a point and it showed out on the field. This new information makes me feel like, helps me understand why I felt like I've had other people where it's like, you know me, with people I consider head cases, I will back up off you and I will make no bones about it. I will have no regrets. But there was something about AJ where it was like, I was always willing to like, he's saying this, but does he have a point? Is you kind of look at everything, it's like does he have a point? Does he he's obviously upset. Does he have a real reason to be upset? If the answer is yes, then I can ride with you and I can ride it out, even though at the same time I could see how it might be hurting the team at the same time. Now the part that you were talking about with the mental health part of it, I appreciate him coming out and saying stuff like that. And obviously, I got issues with mental health, so um, obviously that's it's a serious subject. Hits a little different. Makes me a little makes me feel a little blessed that as many times as I've felt like wanting to do that, I've been blessed enough to not go through with it. So, and it is real. Um um it doesn't necessarily have to be towards a certain person. They don't have to be living their life a certain way to have these kind of problems. And therefore, it should, in fact, be taken seriously and not just be used when somebody's trying to explain something that they can't explain. So then they go, oh, well, he must have had a mental health issue. It's like,
Yeah,
don't,
that's one I can't stand right now.
right. And I especially can't stand it because especially with the people just because they went out and murdered somebody. Okay, why does that mean that they had to have a mental health issue? Um, you know, why? Why in that particular situation? That's immediately where you went. You didn't go to upbringing. You didn't go to how are they living their life. Maybe they were doing some drinking and some drugging that may have contributed to their brain being off. You know, speaking of CTE, did they play sports? Was there physical abuse in their life? Speaking of, that's another way to get your head jarred.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and I've been on that part of things. So with both parents. So my mental health may actually have something to do with that. I don't know. But main point is this: mental health needs to be taken more seriously. And I'm gonna figure out something because you obviously know that that's one of the things that with my brand that I want to really delve into and I want to become a part of my brand and I want to contribute and I want to learn not only to help me but to help others. And because this it is a real situation and even though there might be answers, there's also a bigger picture at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody must understand that and quit labeling everything when a person is venting, quit calling it a damn pity party. Even if that's what it is, if you
Yes.
know that they have a history of mental health issues, do not label it that. You're only, if you're trying to help, you're only going to make them push you away because that literally sounds like their feelings don't matter. Take it from me.
Yes.
Take it from a person that is 48 years old, has mental health issues, has had them since his single digits. That phrase pity party it's a horrible phrase. And it even if you're trying to use it from a tough love, that'll make them tough it up. Don't play that game with somebody with mental health issues.
No.
It just it's a gamble, and I know it's a gamble that I personally wouldn't want to play with when it comes to my kids, and I feel like I've seen what happens when people kind of play that angle in other people's lives. They end up at the funeral with their head in their hands, like, "What did I do wrong?" It's like I don't think you want that answer right now.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them don't want to have that answer. They sit
Um,
there like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything. I was there. I did this. I did everything that I was supposed to.
I got into it with a therapist, and it was messed up because me and the therapist used to be cool, but I was at a concert, got a call from my ex regarding my daughter because when she was living with her mom in Michigan, and she was trying to hurt herself with a butter knife because she was upset. I couldn't really talk because the concert was going on, so obviously I could barely hear my phone. So I called her the next day, and we talked everything out, and she ended up being fine and everything. But when I talked to the therapist, and I know what he meant, I just didn't like
How you said it.
how he said it, the way he presented the question. And he was like, "What would you have? What would have happened if you hadn't answered the phone?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "What would have happened if you wouldn't have answered the phone?" I'm like, "The hell are you talking about?"
Why would I want to hear? Why would I want to think that?
I'm like if you had not answered the phone with that going on, what would have happened? I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Why would I not answer the phone? He's like, it's like, well, you was at a concert. You admitted that you wasn't gonna be able to talk on the phone anyway, and she's up there with her mom in Michigan. So what would have happened? And I'm like, it's not something I would have wanted to find out. And the conversation went downhill from
I
there
hear from there, yeah.
because the more he kept trying to talk, and I get where he was trying to go of let mom handle it. It's like, yeah, but I'm her dad. So
Obviously, she's
I,
calling me in order to help because she wants my help in this.
right. And it's like,
Uh,
why would I go, oh, I'm at a concert and just ignore the call or hey, I tried to get her to give her to me so that I could be more hands-on with my daughter, especially when it came up that she had mental health issues. So let let me use the concert as an excuse to not answer the phone. What are we doing?
You'd be surprised how people try to take
And and then the place, I don't know what he told them, but they wouldn't let me switch therapists, so I just quit altogether. And then after that, I was like, you know what? Life is gonna suck. I know it, but I'm done with this.
hmm
And it's been dicey. I've had some things happen where days got real dicey, where I am blessed to be sitting here, but um you have to take it seriously, um, because you don't want to be that person
No,
that's sitting at the funeral with the head in their hands, wanting to off yourself, trying to figure out what you did wrong.
and blaming yourself and trying to and asking the questioning things that shouldn't be questioned with that because you're like, I should have that should have could have would have start coming into play with it.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that is a dangerous thing to be going through to be having the shoulda, coulda, wouldas in your head dealing with something like that. Because
Oh,
that doesn't go away instantly. That will stick around for eons.
yeah, especially when it's your kid.
Kids.
It's
Yeah.
like as much as I've gotten over the death of my first son, am I completely over it? No. Well, why? Because he's not here. He's about to be 29 this year. Because of how the other three turned out, I would want to know. I want to know, like, how would I have been as a parent to him?
Right.
If he had never died, would I still be with their mother? So many questions, and those questions are gonna be there. I'm a details person, and details are always gonna be important to me. Details are like a double-edged sword, though, because just as much as they keep me out of trouble in that realm, sometimes they plague me to the point to where things get dicey, and for that exact reason. So it I'm a I look at my life like business people look at a business. It's like I'm only as successful as where I project myself to be. And it sucks waking up every day not feeling like you're where you want to be, and having to lean on other people to really get to where you need to be, and feeling like nobody believes in you.
Mhm.
So I tell people all the time, it's like I deal with my mental health on a daily basis. The last thing I need is more stuff piling on me, that I can't resolve on my own. Um, and that might be what's like holding things back, because I'm like feeling like I have to do everything myself, and not being able to because of everything that's coming at me. But yeah, just to give you an idea of your student, and the student that you dealt with for the what 3 years when I was
Mhm.
at the school. That's basically the everything that you heard, how you heard, even what you hear now. That's basically what it is. And it can be difficult. I always understand that in the grand scheme of things, to a certain extent, I am holding myself back for one reason or another, and I understand that, and it does suck, but I still try to keep pushing to try to get around it. Um, and that's where the other people come in, because it's like it's bad enough I'm adding a percentage of holding myself back, but then I'm looking around and it's like I could go in this direction, I could go in that direction, but then that's where I need other people to come in, and they're holding me back more than I'm holding myself back. It's like, same old, the same old deja vu swirling. It's like water swirling in a toilet bowl.
Oh yeah.
You're going in circles, and you want to go up, but you keep going down. And but yeah, but oh,
Yeah, I'm watching. I got the stream up on the other end here. Tar Heels doing their thing.
yeah, they starting to feel it. Trumble. I've always liked Trumble.
He Tremble's been coming into his own. I want to see if they can sustain it, because
Right. Because
if they can go in the camera and they beat Duke, and then put up a very good showing in the ACC tournament, they could be a 2 line. I'm thinking that they're probably going to be a 3 line seed.
you just brought something up, and now, oh yeah, oh my God, yes. Thank you for saying tournament. They want to extend the tournament. I know you heard that. I know you heard that. They said don't make it nothing too big. Get it up to 76 games. Bro, oh my God. If there was anything that made me wish that this show was daily, that was it. I was like, oh my God, I wish I could just get everybody like, hey, we just yeah, we're they
No.
they said get rid of the conference tournaments and add 8 more games. I mean, add 8 more teams. Get it to 76. Woo! While you're calculating that, I'm going to throw out something else that actually came up today, that might be getting ready to happen. Do you think that they should get rid of the onside kick?
For what? It don't work all the time anyway.
The on first things first, there is a possibility of them getting rid of the onside kick, because it's so, in terms of the collisions and everything, and in terms of safety, and instead making it like a 4th and 20 or 4th and 17, and you go for it instead of
So
doing the
again,
onside
you're
kick.
taking This is the shit that irritates the
Bro, I'm sitting in my car and I'm like,
No, do you know where they're getting this stuff from? Do you know honestly where they're getting this stuff from? The kickoff rule came from the XFL. This fourth down thing is coming from the UFL. They're taking the ideas from the other leagues. They're not even
and,
being inventive right now. They're
and,
copying.
and in the name of safety. Well, I mean, the NBA did the same thing when it came to hockey. I mean, so
I
I
mean,
get it.
but there's a difference between taking a functional idea and literally saying, "Oh, that looks nice. Let's do it over here."
In the name of safety.
Oh, so on a 4th and 17, where they're going to be trying their hardest to try to get the first down to give their team the ball back and probably trying to hurdle, run over, truck, whatever else, that's safer than kicking the ball where most of the time all the person does is slide down, lay on the ball, and then they just blow the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
Man, get the...
Man, oh God. But yeah, and all this change and all the safety. Anybody that wants to get mad, beat a dead horse moment. Remember the NFL? Oh, they're so mean, and
How do
they're
I
they're
think
they're they're
back
dictators. They're
what
slave owners. They
we
don't care
had?
about the players' safety. But then they get mad every time one of these ridiculous rules come up. It's like, why are you getting mad? This is what you wanted.
The
You
good
wanted them
times
to implement change,
that
and
we
safety and
had.
showing that they care about the players. And and
We
and
can back. Oh my God. That just made my head hurt.
uh-oh, did a fight break out?
Between who?
Uh foul got looked like a foul got called on Cade Cunningham. Oh, oh, okay.
Who's swinging?
Yeah, it looked like Cade Cunningham decided he was gonna shove Vassal to the floor. That made Johnson and Durham kind of exchange words.
Oh God.
And then the coaches and the refs hurried up and like, hey, no, 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 that's no. So, but it looked weird. It looked like Kate was running down the floor. Vassal was like slightly behind him, and I guess Vassal must have said something that pissed him off because he turned around and just didn't even hide it. Turned around, walked straight up to him. They was face to face, and then he just pushed him to the floor.
I love it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Ain't no more of this. Hey, guy, you hurt? You all right? Get on up. Nah, shove the crap out of him. Beat him up. All right, man. Yeah. Beat the crap out of them. They hit the court. They hit the deck. They hit the deck. It's on.
And I
Stop
know that
being
coach
buddy
got to
buddy
be talking to
NBA.
Durham like, dude, you just got back. What,
You
dude?
don't care.
Please,
I
like,
need.
please, like, please. I understand you sticking up for
I
Cade. I
gotta get
get
my
it.
girl back
Like,
from
dude, you
Mexico. She
just
stuck
got
over in Puerto
back.
Vallarta. Give me a
Like
couple
I
more
need
days
you to
off.
do me a favor. I need you to uh, uh, just please.
Oh my God.
You seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet. It hasn't came up on my screen yet. I'm searching for it.
Oh, dang it.
At the offensive foul. I'm surprised by that one, but it's going to be his third foul. You thought Cade should have gotten a the push was just so egregious, man. I mean, he extended his arms. That wasn't like a
They don't care. Let them fight.
pushed over him, and then what followed was him standing over him, knowing that there was an intent behind the push. So that's why I thought he was going to get a tech there. But like an official kind of breaking that down. That was good, man. Hey, listen, this behind the bench, man, our access. I'm starting to, get polished on some of these things. And Austin's been in his.
Oh God.
Too many. I love how I talk. I love how I talk like I have always had just a solid temper about myself. It's a fun one. The final 3:15 of the second quarter.
Yeah, that was weird. Now obviously the game is like behind what it should be, because you just heard they in the second quarter, because me, I backed the game up so
Yeah.
I can watch it. But yeah, he was jogging down the floor. Vassell was behind him, and then he just turned around. They put hands on each other, and then your boy just kind of started just pushing him, and kind of like a bull rush, and then extended his arms and pushed him to the floor. And it's like, and then Vassell was like, uh, no, Castle, my bad. Castle was clapping his hands like, yeah. So I'm guessing he must have said something.
He had to.
he,
He had
he
to, and they made sure that they made the microphones not be on.
he,
They made sure
he,
the mics weren't on.
and I guess Cade must have been tired of whatever he was saying. Is like, you know what, I'm tired of you. But you know what? That's what Cowher said. He said, "Hey, you want to beat the Pistons? Um, get Durham and Stewart off the floor. Just start jaw jacking with them. They'll take themselves out. And now I guess you can add Cade to that. So that might be what stops them from going to the championship.
Nah, I don't think so. I think out of the East, I
If
don't
they,
see nobody with that grit like
if
they.
Yeah, but if anybody can have the gift of gab to get under somebody's skin and get them to
But
implode
that's
on
the bad
themselves,
boy Pistons, though.
stop,
Come on now,
stop.
it's the bad boys
No,
3.0.
no, 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 no,
This
no,
is
no,
this is
no.
after the Malice in the Palace.
Uh, 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 uh,
This is the Romans and Caesar's palace. That's what that is.
I hear you, but no. Okay. Um, Dang it. You know what? Let me see if I can pull it up. Almost done. I want to do. My God, everybody is posting that everywhere.
The shove?
Nah, so there was this promoter that he had such a bad reputation that people created a group specifically devoted to bad mouthing him.
Oh my God. Here?
Yeah, and apparently he just ended up in jail for domestic violence. So like all of my friends are, oh, oh, oh. Uh, do you believe that you saw what that cop said about Tariq, right?
I didn't read
Oh,
it.
I posted it in the group.
Hold on. Let me pull that back up. See what we
Basic,
got here.
Basically, he was gloating about the situation, um, about him between between him getting hurt and him getting dropped from the Dolphins. He was basically gloating about it, and he called it karma because
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
in his opinion, Tyreek is a piece of, you know. I mean,
I
I
don't.
mean, people. I can understand
Social
him.
media bullies.
Well, I mean, even if I understand the fact that he mad that he got fired, I find it hard to believe that they fired him just off of that incident. So
Right.
for me on the outside looking in, I kind of wonder, like, what was your background like? Because you're not gonna sit up here and tell me, not that I'm saying that it's completely impossible, because it might be possible. Um, it might be possible that it did happen like that, just because the person didn't want that rep on the precinct. So they might have made that move and just you was just a victim in the wrong place at the wrong time. The likelihood of it though is not, especially seeing as many of them as they figure out a way to protect them, it's not likely. Now, if you just got so egregious that they was like, okay, not only was you egregious, but now you got this on the national stage. You got to go. Um, you got to go. We suggest you retire. That way you don't lose nothing. We'll at least give you that much dignity. Um, but like I said, that whole accountability thing, that thing goes across lines that are just impossible to ignore. Do you take D'Angelo Russell seriously
Never.
when he says that what oh, do what to what premise has he lost his mind, in my opinion, to
When he
say
left Ohio State.
that AD is better than Tim Duncan?
When he left Ohio State. That's when he lost his mind. He ain't been right ever since. That and then it was compounded with the whole Swaggy P Iggy Azalea stuff. It just made it worse. I just I don't know. I don't know why it's so important to say something to keep everything going right now. I just don't understand it. I just let it be. Don't even say anything. You have to do something to where your name has to be in some type of B or C level. Yeah, some B or C level just conversation. You're never going to be at A level. You're not good enough anymore. You stopped being that good enough when you had instances when you was in the Lakers, but you haven't been that dude since Brooklyn. Play the rock, know your role, shut your mouth. Simple.
Well,
But we can't do that. We got to
everybody
know
has a
what's going on.
voice.
Everybody has to say. Everybody got to know what's going on. Oh my God. No, you don't have to do that.
Any games coming up this week? We're gonna wind it down, wrap it up. Any games going on this week that you're looking forward to?
Um, shoot, tonight, Houston
Right,
and Kansas. Um,
right.
I think this week is actually like calmer. It's a lot of other games. It's not a lot of main ones after this week because everybody wraps up with their chief rival next week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of it's getting down to the nitty gritty. I'm like, I'm gonna be following UC just to make sure I'm not that. Are they gonna make me lose my mind, or are they gonna prove me right? Which
Right.
9 times out of 10, they're gonna prove me right. But I hope they prove me wrong. Oh, you know what else that
You think they got a shot against Texas Tech on what
I
is it
mean, shit.
tomorrow?
After these past couple of weeks, who knows? I mean, they ain't got to face Toppin because he's out for the season. So who? I mean, who knows? Um, I do, and I'm going to try to see if I can find out a way. I've got
Oh,
to see the Huggins. What?
I know I got to be home by 7 on Wednesday.
What's going on? Who's Wednesday?
You got Peacock,
Yeah.
St. John's, and UConn again?
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Um, hmm. Yes,
But
sir.
I do want to see. Have you seen the previews for the Huggins doc?
No.
They are doing a full-fledged Bob Huggins documentary that's Corey Blunt paid to help pay to be the executive producer for
Uh-huh.
it. And they're bringing back all the they're bringing back all the older they interviewing all the older players. They interviewed Hugs. They interviewed like the athletic directors. They're going over Hug's entire career.
Uh-huh. Oh, we. Oh, we.
But
Yeah. So Friday, Michigan plays uh Illinois. That game should be pretty good. Saturday, Duke plays Virginia. Um, and depending on how you really feel about Kansas, they play Arizona at 4 o'clock. So
Arizona gonna wax them. I don't.
yeah, Arizona is they own one because that Arizona Houston game was like, oh my God, that game was so good.
Yeah, Arizona was on a heater. That's why I said I need to see what it was on there for that one. I don't. Right now, it seems like it's going to be between Duke, Arizona, and Michigan in order to win it all. And somebody's going to come up as a dark horse. I don't trust Houston because Houston has always gotten to that bridesmaid but never finished the job.
What about UConn?
Pardon me if I'm wrong in this, but does it seem like Hurley has not been as focused since he was up for that Lakers job and turned it down?
I think, I think, I think he's trying to back people off of the narrative about his like how he acts
Mm-hmm.
his because it's like we were talking about earlier. Actually, I was talking to somebody else about this because we were talking about Baker Mayfield. When you have a certain bravado or a certain way you act and everybody's and the winning is going on, it gets looked at in a certain way. When you're losing and having the same bravado, it comes off different and gets a totally different narrative. And I believe that because of because of his antics, he's been trying to make sure because he knows that his mouth has gotten him in trouble. So he's been trying to watch what he say. He makes sure if he say anything on the sideline, he makes sure he covers up his mouth when he says it.
Mm-hmm. He treats it like the NBA players.
And I just believe that they their star player. I feel like him and Solo Ball, they definitely look better this year than they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like what I see, and I think that's what the other part of it was. It was just, yeah, they had a projected high team, but just from a chemistry standpoint, too many people had to have their hands on the ball, um, in order to make it happen. And Solo was like too inconsistent. He wasn't consistent enough last year.
True. That's very true.
When I see him this year, I'm like, oh, and the chemistry seems to just be like there when you're watching the games. At least from the games I've had a chance to watch, was seeing that they moved that entire conference from Fox. I don't get to watch them as much as I did last year. I actually liked it better when they were all on Fox because I was able to keep up with like all the teams in that division, and it was awesome. But
Oh, yeah.
now that they done swung them over to ESPN, it's harder to catch the games. They have them swinging over between ESPN and they got them on Peacock now. They got the Big
Because it's
12.
I did not realize how much NBC when NBC split off and they broke the link between them and like USA and everything else like that. I did not realize how hard they swung in order to buy all the rights for pretty much every single sports platform.
Yeah,
So all this time we've been sitting up there worried about Disney and ABC and ESPN doing it, and
yeah.
NBC and
They
Universal and
caught
Peacock,
on. They caught on. They said if we don't
they
hurry up and
sniped
get,
them.
yeah, if we don't hurry up and get in where we fit in, Disney about to take over.
But they took from Disney because with them now having, they took the NBA on Sundays. They took the Sunday nights on there for it. They took MLB, and they have already have they already got they got the NFL, MLB, and NBA, and then it was somebody else that they said that they got on Sunday nights too.
The WNBA, the women are going to be taking over Sundays.
Yeah, it's so they basically have
But
killed
that might be in trouble because
because of the league. Which, in all intents and purposes, if that's the case, then extend Unrivaled. You got more people really clamoring to watch Unrivaled than they are for the WNBA games.
which is crazy.
But it's a more entertaining form of basketball.
Mm,
I've watched the parts that I've caught.
yeah, I get that, but again, people can say whatever they want. At the end of the day, this whole thing that everybody got behind and was telling everybody to get behind, it's ultimately going to be what destroys the WNBA because even if I'm the guess, and I'm only guessing, my guess is this: we are about to raise everything to pay all players because of one player.
And that's what's sad about it because don't
And you know, I see that, unfortunately. Matter of fact, I was talking to somebody online. Did you see what I posted in the group about what Green Bay is about to try to do?
no.
Apparently season ticket holders have been reselling their tickets and
Oh yeah, they're gonna put a kibosh on that real quick.
right. And I was going back and forth with this one guy, and he ended up saying, "Well, it's got nothing to do with business." I'm like, "So let me get this straight. them reselling tickets, which means that the the Green Bay Packers are not getting direct money from customers because they're buying resold tickets, which is affecting their overall money that could be coming in, because if they weren't buying those resold tickets, they'd be buying brand new separate tickets, which is giving Green Bay more money. That has nothing to do with business. And I think he replied to it, but I looked up and realized I was like a minute or two over jumping in and preparing for the show. So I'll go back and look later. And then another person that because I put it in separate groups, another person brought up something that I forgot to think about when it came to the fans, scalpers.
Yeah.
His angle was, well, good, because I never get to go to a game because um people are always buying the tickets and flipping them. And the main people that buy the tickets and flip them are scalpers.
It's that, and then I'll give you an example of it's not even just the scalpers anymore because my uncle just retired from being a scalper here in the city.
Okay.
One of the things that he said that's killing them is just the blatant resale market. If somebody puts their tickets available for it, the bots are going out there and snatching them up almost instantly. And it the crazy way that happened was that J. Cole just put out that he going on tour after his album released. At one point in the queue for tickets for Madison Square Garden, there was 250,000 people in the Ticketmaster queue for tickets for the concert for one night. And most of the people that was in there saying that they couldn't get the tickets was shocked to see the tickets right back on resale because the algorithm is saying, okay, at its peak, it was this many people that was in queue for this session here. So the demand for the tickets would be the price should be here for resale, depending on where your seats was. The seats is going for almost $1,000 to $1,500 for the nosebleeds in Madison Square right now. And he added a night. So if you're putting your tickets up for sale as a season ticket holder for even a game, and they hit anything to where StubHub or Ticketmaster can see it, and it's tickets for Lambeau, which is pretty much a mecca. Yeah, the resale's making a killing.
Hmm.
And it's crazy with it. But I get it all the way.
Yeah, I mean they're in it to make money, and if people are buying season ticket holder tickets, and basically what they were saying they were going to do was if they could not stop it, then then as soon as they find out who did it, you come back to try to get renewed. Yeah, that's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, those tickets have numbers on them, so they know who
Right.
who they
Right.
belong to. So, yeah, uh, I get both sides of it. It just it's another situation that is unnecessary. But at the end of the day, like I always say, at the end of the day, you can make whatever rules you want. People are going to continually try to get over. There's nothing you
Oh,
can
hell
do.
yeah.
There's ultimately nothing you can do. You can make up, just like with the whole thing about tanking. You can make up whatever rules you want. As much as people don't want to be treated like kids, at the end of the day, we are kids because we will, okay, this is the rule. How can we get around it?
And it's going to be to where you can't. It's going to be to where Green Bay. The one thing that I don't think that anybody ever wants to see is Green Bay go to where, hey, it's we're selling the team away from the public. It's going to be a private owner into that point. But realistically, with the landscape of what it's going, that could possibly be happening in the next 10 years.
Yeah, eventually, especially if they're not making if they're not making it to a Super Bowl. Yeah.
The only reason now, here's the question before we wrap this up. Here's the question that makes it to where it possibly won't be. What happens if Chicago moves to Indiana?
Oh my God. And the mayor just came out and basically tried to plead his case that basically stuff that was being said was not true, and that they're still willing to
They've had years.
they're still willing to negotiate and negotiate it to where and he kind of pointed out what the sticking point might be, and I could see it being a sticking point because he started bringing up, well, we want to make sure that everything is still affordable for the fans, and he started bringing up the prices of the tickets, um the prices of the food and the drinks and the parking, and it's like, so wait, you want to put the you want me to put the taxpayers in position to pay for this, but you're still raking them over the coals.
But
You're
that's
not even
everywhere.
right.
That's
So and in that, he wasn't being slick, because I quickly
no.
caught on, like, oh, that's what the problem is. It's they want them to stay, but they want, if you're going to keep your prices, then you gotta if you're gonna keep the prices with the food and the parking and everything, then why don't y'all take on more of that cost?
Cost, right. But
And
that's the thing but the precedent has been set. Realistically, with Chicago, what Chicago's worst fear was, if you look at the radius around Chicago right now, Indianapolis is in a newer stadium. Detroit's in a newer stadium. Green Bay is Green Bay. They're not going to move. Minnesota's
right.
in a newer stadium. Now, after you get outside of there, the Bengals are in a newer stadium. Cleveland's about to get a newer stadium. They're about to get a new stadium. Kansas City is about to get a new stadium. So everybody within a probably 400-mile radius is sitting in brand new stadiums, and you're sitting in good old Soldier Field.
Yep. That's been needing a reboot for years.
Exactly. So I get what they're saying. I get what the grab is. But the difference between them doing this and every other city that's done this is that every other city ain't got raked over the coals. The only cities, and realistically, when you think about it, the only cities that has not gotten raked over the coals throughout this whole process, Indianapolis, because they can use their stadium year-round. Minnesota, because they can use their stadium year-round. Detroit, because they can use their stadium year-round. Cleveland eventually will. Kansas City eventually will. The only people that's been raked over the coals in somewhat is Cincinnati. And Green Bay partially, but Green Bay owns the team.
Yep.
Reason being, they can't use their stadiums year-round. And you're in Chicago, where realistically, Chicago and Cincinnati are twins. Reason being, you should have it to where your stadium district should be where you could, if you wanted to host a convention, your convention center, your arena, and your stadium should all be somewhere where it's in walking distance of each other, and you could maximize your throughput. But you keep on tracking your feet. And now you got it to where Indiana sitting up there like, hey, come on down to Hammond. Where the hell is Hammond? Just I know where it is, but some people that don't know how to read maps are gonna be like, Hammond, what the hell?
Right. Apparently, it's like an hour outside of Chicago.
Right. So you're gonna have fans traveling an hour outside Chicago to go see the Chicago Bears if they keep the Chicago Bears name.
When they're already traveling, a lot of them are already traveling like an hour or 2 hours just to get to Chicago.
Right.
Money.
So your cost savings comes down to, am I either saving it on gas or on parking?
Right.
But we don't know nothing. We're just fans.
All right. Now I know that you gotta get going. So, oh God, this has just been chalked up full, and we still didn't talk about everything we could have talked about.
We never do.
Um, oh Jesus Christ. I will say this. The 28th, we still need to discuss like which 30 for 30 we're doing, and
You know what? I watched one yesterday. Catholics versus convicts.
wait a minute. Which one did you watch?
Catholics versus convicts.
Catholic
story-
versus
Convicts. The story of the Notre Dame Miami University of Miami football rivalry.
Oh, okay.
That one, I stumbled upon it and went back and watched it from the beginning to hear that story about the depth of that story of how it messed up one of the seniors pretty much their career because of the shirt. Yeah, that's the one. I'm gonna rewatch it again. That's the one you need to go watch. That one was very good.
Where'd you watch it at?
It was on ESPN. It was 30 for 30. It was Catholics versus convicts.
Okay.
I'll send you the link to it.
All right.
Because I want to watch it again because I when I came in on it and I was watching it and I saw like the whole last hour and 15 minutes of it. And then I went back and tried to start it again. But that whole story from the rivalry between Holtz and Jimmy Johnson
Oh boy.
to the prompt, like, because that was the pressure that was on Holtz in order to win that game after what had happened the year before with them. And Jimmy gave. I always wondered why Jimmy did it the way he did it with Miami before he left, and like why they was just pretty much saying we gonna kick everybody's teeth in, and then I totally forgot of all things that I would think that I would never forget. I forgot that Jimmy Johnson was the head coach of Miami when Doug Flutie threw the Hail Mary for Boston College. Yeah. And that's the reason why they started going, you know what, on people for a while there in the late 80s. Because he said he mentioned another game that I had totally forgot about. And I went back and looked it up after the fact. I said, oh, shoot, he's right. That is a great watch.
All right. One more time. Where is it?
Catholics versus convicts. I'm pulling it up. Hold on. How did they almost lose?
Oh,
Carolina only won that game by 3.
I told you that game that
Ay.
that's why I'm about at the end of it now. That's why I said that game was good because I backed it up and watched it from the beginning, and Louisville honestly tried to take it to them boys, and 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 uh and then it wasn't until later that they got away, but they couldn't stay away because Louisville kept fighting back into it. And I haven't really gotten to watch a Louisville game this year, so this is like the only time I've gotten to
Louisville's
watch
a
it. But
very good underhand.
them them boys are scrappy not to have not to have what's his name there
Mhm.
Patino. Oh, that's how it happened. So
Hold on.
yeah, so there should be like 1.3 seconds on the clock, not point 0.8. Anyway, um,
I just sent the link for.
okay, cool. But yeah, man, this was all over the place, but
We
all
always
of it
have fun and we
was
run all over the track.
and it was worthy conversation. Especially that whole situation with AJ Brown speaking on mental health that got really, really deep, really, really serious. But hey, that's what
Sports does, and that's what friendship does. It brings levity, and it brings a sense of, I won't say calmness. It brings a sense of reality to it, to where, like I said, all of this is a game. And you take it as seriously as you need to. But in all fairness, we playing around. We playing along with it right now. We do this for the fun of it. We always have, we always we will be serious when we need to. We'll be combative when we need to, but always keep that in mind, to where at the end of the day, it's just a small part of the whole bigger picture.
for sure. All right. Well, Dante Suave, Mystah Jay, saw Andrew this past weekend. Said he was gonna be here. Not sure what happened. Um,
We're gonna catch him. We're gonna catch him.
Yeah,
Even if we just pop in with just a random live and be like, "Hey, look at who we found." We got him tied up in front of the screen. You gonna give your opinion today? You gonna say something?
All right. We will see everybody next week. Till next
All right,
time.
everybody, have a good one.
I'ma save all of my change, y'all can make it rain. Still ain't gon' fuck. And Trinidad, I don't know James, but the roller y'all gold, everything. Rick James, Liddy off the Mary Jane. She a nag, she complain, had to bust it down, take it down. Chris Brown, flip around, beat it down, eat a child, win the water, Nemo now, a piece of pound. My greeting now, don't touch me, nigga, ease it down. I like my hoes, just like my clothes, they dripping now.
Hey, don't even give nothing else loose.
I ain't finna say shit else, man. Album on the fucking way, man.
Hey,
What up, Tay?
what's good?